ProMAX MediaHub. Professional video workflows, any location, any OS, any internet speed. In this video, we'll be comparing MediaHub and VPN-based workflows. I'll start with an overview of how MediaHub works, then I'll pass things over to Brian and Nathaniel, who will give an overview on VPNs. After that, we'll wrap things up with a side-by-side comparison. So let's get started. MediaHub is a small desktop server that provides local SSD performance and goes in each of your creative team members' homes. Using a peer-to-peer network, your creative users can share massive media files and collaborate on projects just like you were in the same office. When a user makes a change to a project, those updates are automatically synced to all the other media hubs and shared storage in your network. This works exactly the same at home or the office, on Mac or PC. And because you're working on local SSD storage, you don't need to worry about spotty internet connections. This gives your team the seamless collaboration you've always been used to. Now that you know how MediaHub works, let's take a look at how a VPN works. Then we'll do a side-by-side comparison.
VPN technology uses software and hardware to allow users to connect to an office's internal network from just about anywhere. So if you have 100 terabytes of data at your office, you can directly connect to that data from home. In a VPN-based workflow, you typically copy the data from your office to your home, work on it, and then push it back to the office. Because you're copying data, video teams usually use proxies with VPNs to reduce file size. Let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison of this approach and the MediaHub.
When it comes to comparing a MediaHub with a VPN-based workflow, there's two things to look at. Number one, speed. And number two is the actual workflow. Now, when you look at speed, MediaHub is going to transfer data faster, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, MediaHub is based on what's known as a peer-to-peer network, which means users can directly talk to each other. Whereas in a VPN, you're going through a single bottleneck of the upload and download speed of your office. What a lot of people don't realize is that a VPN adds another layer of overhead on top of that, so it actually slows your office speed down. These add up to slower data transfers. 5 megabytes per second is pretty common with a VPN. This is also why VPNs usually suggest using proxy media. MediaHub can use proxies, they're just less important. We figure if you can work in the raw footage, why not? The other area to look at is the actual workflow itself. Now in a MediaHub environment, you're going to use the same workflow you're used to. Copy footage to your server, work, export. In a VPN workflow, you're adding a lot of steps. First, you have to copy the footage usually to the centralized server, which means you're going into the office. Once that footage is copied, those proxies need to be created. Then, when users are external, they can download those proxies at home. Once the editing is done, usually you're going to have to either send that project file back to somebody at your office or use a remote control workstation like a TeamViewer workstation to actually export with the high-res media. Now, this is a much more complex process than what most people are used to, and we think it's really important to have the same workflow whether you're at home or at the office. That's just a quick look at some of the differences between a MediaHub and a VPN-based workflow.
I hope this was helpful. To learn more about how MediaHub works in your environment, check out our design guide videos using the links below. If you still have some questions, feel free to hit us up on chat or book some time with us at promax.com/questions.